Well, the delegates are downstairs in the conference hall. We're up here in the exhibition area, and I'm joined by Elspeth Boyle of Landlord Accreditation Scotland. So welcome, Elspeth.
Thank you.
How important is it for you to be part of this great gathering of stakeholders in the private rented sector?
As an individual landlord, a day like this means that you can come and be part of a group of other individual landlords, and maybe that's where you get your information from. Maybe you're not at many other things in the year. So for us to be here, to be able to say you can come to training anywhere you like in Scotland, we cover the whole country from up north from Orkney. We do training in Orkney all the way down to the southwest, and there's local training, local information and local support. So for us to be here, it lets everybody who comes along know that there's an option for them, for something that they can do in their own area.
Indeed, and it's so important for landlords to understand the benefits of accreditation as well, because really it's saying I'm committed to professional standards, isn't it?
That's it. And what it does is, and what we've heard from some of the speakers today, we are an industry. We should be professional. We should be aspiring to do what we do well. And the benefits of doing that are for the individual landlord. That's where the benefit comes. Because they do know what they're doing, they're confident in how they apply their own practices to legislation, and they know they're not going to make a mistake. They're not going to just plough on ahead and do something without the information at the back to say, I know what I'm doing. I'm confident about it, and that way it doesn't. Most of these mistakes that they will make may hit them financially.
Indeed.
And that's where they want to stay away from making those small errors. So the more information they can take on board, then the higher up they can be perceived in that industry. Accreditation says, I do things properly, I know I'm supposed to, and I do them. And I think it's important for them to be recognised as a group of landlords who choose it. It's completely voluntary, but they choose that. So it's even more impressive when you think that they put themselves on the line there to say, you can test me and I know I'll comply.
Fantastic. And also I think that actually goes out to tenants as well, because it gives them more confidence in renting from private landlords. And at the end of the day, without tenants, none of us have a business, do we? So
that's exactly right.
I know that you share our belief in best practice and always having the tenants' well-being at the heart of everything that you do.
We do one of the courses that we do concentrates absolutely, totally on communication. Simply because maybe as an individual landlord, that's not been your particular skill. You haven't worked in a situation where communication is so incredibly important, and yet it can change the dynamic completely in a tenancy if there is a good flow of communication. If you want a tenancy to continue, then you have to have a good relationship with the tenant, because it's the same as any other thing, any other walk of life. If there's no trust or acceptance or link between the two parties, then they'll go the separate ways. And the best tenancies are the longest ones where the tenant is working with the landlord and the landlord's working with the tenant.
Absolutely.
So I think it's fundamental to understanding what can bring you a longer tenancy is understanding that talking can do it. It's not very difficult.
Communication is so important.
Absolutely.
And really, this event is kind of heralding the changes, and that's even more important for landlords to raise their game and understand their legal obligations. So it's going to send them away really empowered to do that, isn't it?
It is, and I think a lot of the time that landlords can think, more legislation coming my way, how am I going to cope with that? In actual fact, a lot of the time we've been doing it already. We've been kind of self-monitoring it. Comes along, you just have to tweak things or adapt things, and then you are actually complying. But by doing that, you do raise your game. You do. You just, and the more professional the industry looks, then the more clout you have when it comes to being involved with changes in legislation.
Very good point.
You can be looked to as a group of people who have got an input to make. And I think just the fact that they can have information given to them, that landlords can receive the information, makes it so much simpler for them. If you can, I know we should all be looking for our information, but sometimes in the way that you're running things, somebody gives the information to you, it's there. No excuses after that. I've been told.
It's fantastic. It's been lovely speaking
Thank
to
you.
you,
Thank you very much.
Elspeth. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure you'll join with me in saying that if you take one day out of your busy landlord day in the year, then this is the place to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.